Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Traveling and Learning. This is the technical part of my channel which contains tutorials and documentaries on statistics and research methodology. In this video, I will talk about standard deviation and variance. I will explain what these two terminologies are and what are the differences between these two terminologies. So, starting from variance, variance is the expectation of the squared deviation of a random variable from its population, mean or sample mean. Variance is a measure of the dispersion which is due to spread of all data in a data set. Therefore, variance is the measure of dispersion in a data set. How variance can be calculated? It's very simple to calculate a variance. We have this formula, and with the help of this formula, the variance can be calculated. So the x is the term in a data set, the mean, that is sample mean, the sum, and the small n is for the sample size. So let's suppose we have this data set 2, 7, 3, 12, and 9, and we want to calculate its variance. So first step is that we calculate its mean, that is add 2, 7, 3, 12, and 9, and then divide it on 5. So we get 6.6. Then take each value in dataset, subtract the mean and square the difference. For instance, the first value 2 is subtracted from 6.6 and then squared. So it comes 21.16, and then 7 minus or subtract from 6.6 and then square 0.16. The square differences are all values are then added. So we get this 69.20. The sum is then divided by the number of data points. So we have 5 data points. So 69.20 is divided on 5, and we get 13.84, which is actually the variance. Then come to the standard deviation. The standard deviation is a statistical measurement that looks at how far a group of number is from the mean. In other words, standard deviation measures how far apart numbers are in a data set. Standard deviation is useful when comparing the spread of two separate data sets that have approximately the same mean. So how to calculate standard deviation? If you have already calculated the variance with the given formula, so it's very easy to calculate the standard deviation. For calculating the standard deviation, we take the square root of the variance. So in our previous example, 13.84 was the variance. So once we take its square root, then the standard deviation is 3.20. Now finally, what are the differences between standard deviation and variance? The standard deviation measures how far apart numbers are in a data set, whereas the variance, on the other hand, gives an actual value to how much the numbers in a data set vary from the mean. Standard deviation is the square root of the variance and is expressed in the same unit as in the data set, whereas variance can be expressed in squared units or as a percentage. Standard deviation can be greater than the variance since the square root of a decimal is larger and not smaller than the original number when the variance is less than 1. Standard deviation is smaller than the variance when the variance is more than 1, for example 1.2